Hello and welcome back. I'm Dr. Lori Williams. If you struggle with placing boundaries, then this video is going to be for you. So many times I struggle to put boundaries in my relationships. And today I'm going to challenge you on that because there is no such thing as struggling to place boundaries. You know how to say no. You know that you have needs and you know how to speak up to express those needs. The problem isn't that you are struggling with placing boundaries. The, the trouble is that you have a fear of rejection. You're afraid of what's going to happen after you place that boundary. So when you say no, when you put your needs first, when you don't go along with everything and act like everything is fine when it really isn't, you're going to fear rejection. What if they don't love me anymore? What if they don't like me? What if they don't accept me? What if they, what if? This is not necessarily a conscious conversation that you're having with yourself. This is a nervous system. Your nervous system has learned very early on in your life that in order for you to be safe, you had to be agreeable, you had to be easy to deal with, um, you had to be low maintenance. All of that would bring you safety. If you weren't any of those things, you would be seen as being dramatic or selfish or, um, like they're not worthy of love. And people don't choose people that they don't see as worthy of love. So, through this realization, most likely at a very young age, when you realize that boundaries make you unsafe, you stop placing boundaries. You start being the agreeable person, the one who helps to regulate other people's emotions, the fixer, the healer, whatever you want to call yourself in your relationships, so that you get to be chosen. Essentially, that's what it comes down to: is that you just want to be chosen. You want people to love you. Unfortunately, what that does though is it causes over explaining. Um, it's like you end up saying, you end up resenting the things that you agree to do. It's like, if somebody called you and say, "Hey, do you want to come over?" And you really don't want to go over, but you go over there, and the whole time you're just itching to get out of there, and you're feeling so uncomfortable and so overwhelmed and angry. And a lot of the times you may even take the anger out on the person that you went to visit, but it's not about them. It's because you didn't listen to yourself. You let yourself down. You abandoned yourself in order to be chosen by someone else. So um, every time you refuse to place a boundary, the brutal truth of it is, your boundaries are going to cost you something, or your if you put a boundary in place, it's going to cost you something. Is That's essentially what your nervous system thinks. So it may cost you the approval or access, love, um, familiar dynamics. All of those things may fall apart. And the truth of it is that most people won't cross this line. They shrink themselves. They go against the things that they want. They abandon themselves in order to have to tell themselves that they feel safer um, if they just play it safe. The point of no return, though, is the moment that you get in your journey where you are okay with being misunderstood. Boundaries become simple, not easy, but simple. Um, you don't have you don't have to you don't have to come up with like boundary scripts. Like, oh, what am I going to say to place this boundary? Because it's not about that. Essentially, what you need to do is you just need to know that you can survive disapproval. The people that you have been managing their emotions, that you've been helping them or like healing them and fixing them and helping them to regulate their softening yourself so that they don't have to look at themselves. When it comes down to it, as soon as you place a boundary, they're going to have a problem with it, but you've been enabling them all this time. So, of course, when you take away that enabling, it feels very uncomfortable to them, and they're going to withdraw from you. Once you get to a point where you would rather have someone else withdraw from you than you to continue to abandon yourself. That's just where everything changes. That's where boundaries become simple. That's where, we tell ourselves, oh, I'm just being kind. You're not being kind. That is not kindness. Kindness should not cost you any part of yourself. And if you are shrinking or staying quiet or not having your needs met in the relationship, that is not kindness. That is self-abandonment. And we do this on repeat in so many of our relationships, and we think that it's healthy. The truth of it is we're the unhealthy one until you're able to sit with the discomfort of being disapproved of. When you get to that point, when you stop fearing rejection, you get to the point where you can be completely alone. That's when you become very dangerous. I call it dangerous. I don't mean that in a bad way by any means, but that's when you can become very dangerous. That's when it's like this new part of you has become alive, where you're not doing life for other people anymore. You're showing up for yourself. Because after most likely a lifetime of abandoning yourself, being able to place boundaries is probably one of the most freeing experiences you will ever have. Like I said, it's not necessarily easy at first. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first. But I always say, just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's good for you. And just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's not good for you. So, especially when you have a dysregulated nervous system, the opposite of what you feel could definitely be true. So, ultimately, it comes down to allowing yourself to feel discomfort in the disapproval. Because at the end of the day, that's going to help you to know that you're doing something right. Every time you choose yourself, even if that is your boundary can be to choose yourself. That doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you unworthy of love. It doesn't make you, what's the word? Unvaluable. It makes you free. It makes you showing up for yourself. And essentially that's what we're here to do. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be living our life on our terms. And the truth of it is the only people that will see a problem with that are the people that used to benefit from you not having boundaries. The only people, I'm going to say this again, the only people that will have a problem with you putting boundaries are the ones who benefited from you not having them in the first place. That's all there is. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you back here next time.